Parents of Reddit, what is your best "why is my kid so stupid" moment? My 4-year-old son just the other day spilled his water bottle on the floor. I told him to get paper towels to wipe it up. He does. Then I told him to throw the towels in the trash. He wrings them back out onto the floor before he throws them in the trash. My toddler watched at least an hour of an animated movie populated entirely by talking animals. Suddenly, a giraffe came on screen and said something. My kid stood up, pointed at the TV, and angrily yelled, "What? Giraffes can't talk." When my brother was around 6, he decided he wanted to play Tarzan with a cord hanging in his room. However, the cord kept slipping from his hand, so he decided to swing with it around his neck instead. My poor grandmother walked into the room to find her grandchild apparently trying to hang himself. My son, at age 10, I was trying to figure out why my shower was draining so slowly and wound up pulling the drain strainer out. Inside I found a bunch of brown paper goop. It took me a while to figure out what it was. I went to my son and asked him, "Did you tear up a toilet paper tube into little pieces and cram those pieces down the drain in the shower?" "Yes." "Okay. Brain fries. How about not?" "Sure." My daughter insists wearing a jacket will make her cold because she only wears it when she is cold. When I was a kid, my little brother woke up and thought he saw Frankenstein walking down a hallway in the middle of the night. He took off running in his underwear, out the door, down the block, several blocks really. A couple picked him up maybe 4 blocks away and brought him home. He was on his way to my grandmother's trailer a good half-mile away. Kicker was, the Frankenstein he saw was my grandmother who was staying with us that night. Took a while to live that one down. Our daughter, when asked what she wanted to be when she grows up, answered, "I want to be a strawberry, but if that's too hard I want to be purple." The color purple, the fruit strawberry. She was 5. When I was 11 we were at a park that had one of those swirly slides that is kind of like a tunnel. Well, I wanted to act like a mountain climber and tie a rope around myself and jump down the slide to climb back up. What was the best spot to tie the rope? I asked myself. The neck. Good location to easily grab the rope and pull myself back up, plus convenient tying spot. My parents ran to me yelling and stopped me mid not tying a rope around my neck to jump down a slide. In retrospect, I'm a dumb A. When my sister was 18 she was planning a trip to California after HS graduation. She spent several days calling banks to get the exchange rate for money because somehow she was absolutely convinced that regular US currency in Pennsylvania was not usable in California. She thought the banks were all lying to her that it was the same money. I'm surprised she even found California. If I can be the kid who made my parents ask this question, I walked into a wall when I was 5 because I was walking around looking through binoculars backwards. Got these 2 massive ring bruises around my eyes. My older brother carved my name into the side of my mum's car with a rock for whatever reason and tried to blame it on me. I was like 4 years old and couldn't write yet. Son always has mystery bruises, swears he doesn't run into things. We hear him yell ouch from his room, the bathroom, or when he opens the fridge into his face. Last night he was on his tiptoes looking at something on the table. He lowered to his flat feet and almost bit his stupid fucking tongue off because his chin was still over the table. So much blood. Edit. A lot of people keep commenting that he might have this disease or that disease. He doesn't. He smokes kids older than him by 2 years in soccer. He skis with the 12-year-olds. He outruns 7 to 10-year-olds. He is the most athletic kid I have seen in his school. He is just a bit air-raided and forgetful of his surroundings. My nieces, I don't have kids. Me and the older niece, 7, are playing Minecraft while the younger niece, 5, watches. We build a small little town, and I build the younger niece a little house in the town for her to play in, then give her the controller. We are all sitting on my couch. The younger niece immediately places TNT all over the town and sets one off. Me and the older niece sit there and watch as the whole town explodes. This makes older niece sad and bummed out to where she almost cries, but didn't. I told younger niece that she is in trouble and she made her sister sad and to go to her room for like 5 minutes. IDK I'm just the uncle lol. After like 5 minutes of hearing me and older niece laughing and playing Minecraft together, she comes out of her room and asks if she can come back in and watch/play. I told her, you can play, but only after you apologize to your sister. Younger niece runs out of the room screaming, crying, not sure why. Again, I'm just the uncle. Another 5 minutes go by, younger niece comes back into the room after hearing us still laughing and playing, and, again, asks if she can watch/play, to which I respond the same thing. Apologize to your sister and the controller is yours. She looks at me dead in the face. I can't apologize. I can only speak Spanish. I said, what? I can't apologize. I can only speak Spanish. Well then apologize in Spanish. I'm sorry. Okay, here's the controller. My youngest, around the age of 3, lost having curtains in his room after the second time he bent the hook that the curtain rod hangs onto because he tried swinging on his curtains. It turns out that the tiny piece of metal that's designed to hold the weight of a curtain rod is not designed to support a child. Several years later we'd moved to a new house and decided he was certainly old enough to stop swinging on curtains. We made sure to sit down with him to explain that when he was little, he would swing on them and that it broke the curtain rods. Now that he was around 6 or 7, he was old enough to remember not to climb the curtains. He lost the curtains the next day after he tried swinging on them. Perhaps he thought we were lying to him? Okay, but that could happen to anyone. And 6 or 7, that's still pretty young. When he was 10, he grabbed the wooden towel bar in the bathroom and fell backwards, and then kept falling because the small wooden rod was only attached to the rest of the towel bar via a small piece of wood that was glued to the main structure and, once again, was meant to support the weight of a wet towel or two, not a 10-year-old child. Damn near gave himself a concussion on the side of the bathtub that time. I was that kid. My parents took my siblings and I to a greenhouse garden. Everyone was on their best behavior until I got the sudden urge to lick some foamy stuff off of a window. I was always a good kid, never caused any trouble, but for whatever reason I had this compulsion to lick this foamy stuff off the window. Poison control had to be called. My parents were frantic. It was an ordeal. I was anaphylactic to milk at the time too, and I was definitely old enough to know better. On Mother's Day, when I was only small, my dad told me for Mother's Day we would give my mum a lion because she had had a stressful week between jobs. Of course, tiny me had no concept of what a lion was and assumed my dad said a lion. Me, are we actually getting mom a lion? Dad, yes, your mum really deserved a lion, so we'll give her one this morning. I then proceed to sprint excitedly to my parents' room, climb onto the bed, jump up and down over my poor sleeping mother screaming, wake up, we are getting you a lion, wake up right now. My mother did not get a lion, or a lion for that matter. Our kids were probably 10 and 6. We are at a restaurant and they both order hot chocolate. Our drinks come. Both my wife and I are putting our straws in our own drinks and not paying attention. Both of the children simultaneously stick straws into the steaming hot chocolate and take huge drinks and start freaking out. When we allowed our kids to choose a pint of ice cream each, my son insisted on grabbing the gallon and wouldn't be told differently. We placed it back in the freezer and told him we were going to check out, so he had 1 minute to grab a different ice cream or get nothing. As our turn to check out comes, our son approaches with both the same gallon of ice cream as well as a jar of maraschino cherries. When the Axe challenge was a thing, apparently, you spray Axe over the front of your shirt, light it on fire, then take the shirt off. I think that's it. Anyway, this genius gets his arm stuck or something as he pulled the shirt off inside out, so, of course, the fire is now burning his face. He gets it off with the help of his friends and gets taken to the hospital with second-degree burns by his friend's mother because he was staying over. That was a fun phone call to get at 3 AM. Dad, I'm okay but I had an accident and Karen has taken me to the hospital to get treated. I told her it wasn't a big deal, but she made me call. Several instances make me sure my parents thought this on the daily. Stubbed my 3 central toes left foot so bad I thought they were stubbed. They were broken for 6 months and I just walked the pain off. My mom actually smacked me in the head when she found out at my doctor's appointment when I asked the doc if it was normal to have stubbed toes for 6 months. Doc looked, said they were broken but have since healed. Forgot the word cow and replaced it with chair for almost 2 months. I was 13. Playing with my lightsabers with my brother, the ones from Ultra Sabers, so you could probably beat a man to death, and they still work, and busted the shit out of my finger. I thought it was sore. Knuckle was broken. That was this year. I'm 21. This one just made my mom say I'm built to last. Crashed my bike. Broke knee and leg. Ripped meniscus. Severed ACL. Broken tibia and femur at the ends. After 2 weeks no use, I was able to stand walking on it again. 3 months later I'm told I need surgery and that I shouldn't be able to walk, seeing as it's still broken, bones and all. As a kid I would always try to touch hot things, like the stove or the clothes iron, even after my mom warned me. She eventually figured F it, she can touch it, burn herself and learn her lesson. Well, I did not learn the first time, or the second time, or the third time. Honestly, my mother lost count on how many times I actually burned myself. She started guarding me again, since I was clearly too dumb to learn from my mistakes, so I got smarter about how to get around her. I couldn't make the connection of careful it's hot equals it will hurt like hell equals don't touch it, but I could make the connection of do it quickly / pretend like you listened equals you'll be able to touch it. I also had a cousin who had an interesting reaction to punishment. Let's say he wasn't allowed to play a video game. He would then try to get rid of all his toys, demand to only be served food that he hated, and sit on the floor facing a wall. When asked what he was doing he would answer, "Since you seem to like taking away things that make me happy, I've decided to be miserable forever. Happy now?" My guess is he wanted the grown-ups to feel bad for him, but the whole thing was hilarious. So dramatic.